solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Hear me now, I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out whenever you see me. Don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?
Thought that you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Hear me now, I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out whenever you see me. Don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Ooh, I do what I want. Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?
I'm usually like losing time, not gaining time. I thought it said 11:20. How the hell are ya? Happy This is Saturday, right? Yes. Listen, when you've been stuck in, if I was either getting paid for this or, I was, you know, Betty's magnum opus here. I think I'm going to start referring to this as the anarchist cookbook because that's kind of what it reminds me of. If a dumb person wrote it, that I is there something in the water in this place? Like, what is going on? I do have some good news for Betty, though. She may be unseated in the biggest dirt bag of all time in the female category. The award goes to, stand by for that. Oh, yeah, I keep repeatedly asking myself, like, I don't have any people like this in my real life. So why do I want to be embroiled? Well, not really embroiled, but why do I want to like, ugh. I mean, some of these people literally make me want to take about 12 showers after I listen to them just to wash off the like overflow ugh, cloud of scum that follows them around. What I'm sure they leave in their bathtub ring. Yes, we are hitting the ground running. Good, some of these people, honest to God. So yes, I mean, it begs the question, is there something in the damn water? I mean, I don't drink out of the YouTube toilet bowl. Yeah, kind of like your cats and your dogs do. God, cats love nothing more than to drink out of a good old toilet bowl. Doesn't matter if they've got a sparkling fountain of, well, hell, I could give mine Perrier water. They'd still prefer the toilet. But if they had to drink out of one of the YouTube toilets, well, they might reconsider. So happy Saturday, everybody. This is Halloween headband number. Are we on? This is 4. I did receive the other 2 last night. I have to say it's funny. The one that I was thinking was going to be the big dramatic moment based on the picture, not so much. I mean, it's still cute, but the other one that came, that I thought would just be cute and not such a big dramatic moment. Well, thank God. Thank God. While one of them has let me down, the other one, I think the other one will work quite nicely, and it will, we'll end this Halloween month with we will go out with a bang. I'll save the most dramatic, the best for last. See, something like this, it's just got the one little bat thing right here, and then I think these are these bats or butterflies? Probably both. See, something like this makes me, it makes me, it makes me sad I didn't fulfill one of my career aspirations, to be a Las Vegas showgirl. And that is not a joke, okay? I promise you, if I was about a foot taller, that would have been me. I would have dedicated myself to a diet plan. Shit. I could have just used Britney's knife dance. That's a damn diet plan. I think I've already said that. But I'll have to dig it up out of my phone. I have a fantastic picture of me next to it was in the I think this was it was the casino of the Bellagio, and behind glass they had a mannequin wearing one of the showgirls costumes, the full headdress with the, oh my God, it had every piece of fabulosity you can hot glue on one item. ostrich feathers, crystals, like a crown, feathers, fishnets. I mean, hello. So naturally, I said, could you just take a picture of me standing next to that?" I will find it in my phone and I will put it on my community post because I am proud to say, you know, if I hadn't landed my second favorite, aspired to career as YouTube jailhouse legal commentator, well, you know, it's a little late now. I know they say it's never too late, but certain careers, it is very much too late. And yeah, it's. I mean, even in dog years, I'm way too old to pursue my showgirl aspirations. Even if my vertical situation was amplified. So, I do the next best thing. I take every possible excuse, i.e., holiday, to wear some absurd headpiece. And, before I had this YouTube fame, I, usually two per holiday would suffice. But, now that I've got a forum, well, my God, and if I'd been thinking, I would have ordered like, how many, what are we on? 1, 2, we're on 4. Yeah, I would have ordered 27 more of these. I'd have planned ahead. So I'm taking notes for Christmas, but Christmas is not as fun. Like, I'm not rocking red and green. No. All right, I'm going to say hi to the kids in class. Yeah, this has really got me feeling some type of way. You know what type of way that is? Oh, fury, rage. Betty, you are a pathetic bitch. My God, you are. You need to get a life. You need to get a life. You need to get a boyfriend that doesn't involve batteries. You need to get a fucking job, a real job. Vanna, I'd like to buy a vowel. Oh, what have we already got on the board? We got an F and a C and a K, A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Do y'all remember that little rhyme? How did that go? A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. And there was a way you could remember. It was like if something came before how did that go? A before E, except after, yeah, that. So I'm going to say hi to the kids in class, and then I'm going to commence with Betty, get ready, girl, because I'm going to rip you another one, and we're not using any lube, okay? Yeah, while I don't think that all of your problems could be cured with the various contents that one might find in, I don't know, an amber colored plastic or sometimes glass vessel, I think that would probably solve at least half. And then you could stop inflicting your misery on all the rest of us. But that's probably too much to ask. Well, I'm sure it is. Look at how old she is. Oh, but yes, this is like, I keep waiting. Let me tell you what page I'm on. Not counting exhibits. 21. We left off at page 8 yesterday. Yes, 8. 3.5 hours, 8 pages. Because of course we have the numerous, various and sundry exhibits. I don't ever want to hear the word exhibit again unless he's singing me a song. Okay. What I was doing in the beginning when this insane clown posse troubled mind, chaotic mess. When I first endeavored to, y'all remember that movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe, and he played, no, I don't get excited. Yes, that was about a savant genius who had a thing for numbers. Quite mentally ill. You know, y'all draw comparisons and contrasts where you will. But in the movie, he had this chalkboard. I think it was in his garage, and it was just filled with what looked like a schematic for a rocket ship or something. Well, that's what this abomination must look like in her mind. In my mind, it just looks like, I mean, I'm running out of words. I don't even know what to say, but let me tell you how when I first began this endeavor, of course, I do all the redactions first. I go page by page. And what I will say, here's one pleasant side effect. When I do my redactions, first thing I do, every place I see a name, I first take a Bic pen, and right above it, I write either a B or a Q. Then I go through with a Sharpie, and every place I've marked, I X out the name. And then what's above the name is the appropriate alphabet letter. Well, you know, after doing this for 18,000 hours, I for some reason seem to think that I want to eat barbecue. That is because all I see is BQ, QB, BQ, QB, BQ, QB. So the local Sunnies down the street, they thank you, Betty. At least someone is going to see some benefit from this. You know, I don't typically eat. My husband makes barbecue. I don't typically, you know, go out to get it. But God, Sunny's has great baked beans. So, you know, every once in a blue moon. So there is that. Listen, people, I'm trying to find the upsides where they exist, which is not too many places. So that's what I was doing first. And then I was reading each page, making notes all over it, like I showed you. I then got to the point where I was having to use multiple colored highlighters. And now here we are this morning, and I got about 2 pages in, and I said, oh, fuck this. So what I'm now doing is I do the redactions on each page. I'm not bothering to read it ahead of time. I'm going to read it live. You're going to get my cold react. Not that you didn't have it yesterday, but you're really getting the cold read and my off the cuff comments. But even doing that in the interest of, you know, saving 12 years off my life, I nonetheless still do have to do all this business and insert the exhibits in between the pages where they belong. I'm still really puzzled why the exhibits started like this. C, B, T, D, E, F, G, J, K. Looks like a P. I mean, it's just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Just picture an old school pinball machine, like when you pull that thing back and let it go, and it's just, and you know, Charlie's Angels, Farrah and Kate are. I get Farrah, okay, all the time. Don't even ask. Just like with Barbie, I'm always Barbie. Y'all can have Skipper. I might give you some cast off clothing, but I'm always Farrah and I'm always Skipper. Barbie, no. not Skipper, Barbie. Well, you know what? Interestingly, I see a few names in the chat that, my goodness, congratulations. Did you know that Voices for the Voiceless might be one? Yes, ma'am, you are. Did you know that you were named in this? Oh, don't you just love that? Don't you worry. It'll go where all the rest of it's going to go, in the trash. So yeah, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about. But it's just interesting. All right, so I'm going to say hi to the kids in class, and then we're gonna get this shit show started. Hey, crazy nurse, how are you? Oh my goodness, you know what? A little bird told me something. A little bird told me that it seems we have an additional 100 pages that were filed, reaffirming what I know, that Betty has no effing clue what she's doing, where all this is concerned. Honey, what do you think this is? Like, you get a deadline and that's it. It's not like, oh, here's your deadline, part 1 to 12, A, B, C, subsection 29.25. Betty thinks that, sorry, I didn't have time to get these additional 100 pages. Let me guess. While I haven't seen them, I have a feeling, I wonder if they're going to say all the same shit we keep hearing, which is a temper tantrum. But that's going to be very interesting. Betty, that was I don't even know what to say. But I'll try, for the benefit of those of you who, unlike Betty, are not, legal professionals. Neither is she. And I don't think you need to be to understand that, this isn't the 7th grade, which seems like that's about where your English skills, where their career ended in the 7th grade. This is not the 7th grade or even the 9th grade. You don't get to, like when the teacher says, Betty, you didn't turn your homework assignment in. It was due today. Betty, do you realize you're going to fail this class if you do not turn your paper in? And because I'm trying to see you get to the 8th grade and get the fuck out of my class because I can't stand you. You're a miserable little brat. I'm going to do you a solid, and I'm going to allow you to turn your paper in. Of course, I'm only going to be able to give you partial credits. Okay? So if you can have your paper, your assignment turned into me by, I'm going to give you until 12 o'clock tomorrow to get it done for half credit. Otherwise, you're going to fail this class. Well, apparently Betty thinks the court system works the same way. Like, oh, Judge, sorry, what's his name? Rasmussen? What is she calling him? Ras? Hey, sorry, Ras. Listen, unlike you, sir, I'm very important and I'm very busy. I am giving interviews and writing brilliant articles for periodicals all across this country. So I'm sorry. I had 325 pages worth of shit to say. Can I help it? That I'm just really overbooked right now. Okay. My assistant quit. Well, yeah. Yes, I did treat her like an unpaid indentured servant, but what of it? Sorry, I couldn't get it all done, so I filed it when I could. I have never seen anything like her. I truly haven't. Voices, I hope that this, I hope my brilliant legal analysis, I hope it helps you whistle while you work. Makes your chores just a little less arduous. Now, if you could find some way to return the favor to me, while I suffer through this, I cannot wait until I can throw this shit in my fire pit. And I will. I'll do a live stream from sitting around my fire pit, because I have like what you'd find at a campground. We had a big cement like sewage pipe, like what you see when they're building roads. And it was, they dug a huge hole and they turned it vertical and they sunk it in the ground, and it's, then we built up around it with flagstone. It's awesome. And I promise you, this pile of shit, at some point, not yet, I wish, we are gonna burn, baby, burn. Yes, we are. Maybe I'll make s'mores with although I don't know, I probably don't want the smoke from all the highlighter. Blech. No, but we will have a burn party at some point. Hey, Helen Highwater, how are ya? Hi, Fairy Meadows, SoFlo Mama. And what is SoFlo doing? Out in the yard planting mums and fall things. Oh, look at you. That's awesome. I used to have rose bushes that I absolutely loved. I took care of them like they were children, which is what you have to do with roses for the most part, unless you're lucky and you live someplace where they thrive easily. Florida, they do not. We have a lot of sand. I would hand water them with Miracle Grow once. I think I did that like once every 10 days or 2 weeks. They got regular watering. Oh, I would hand spray them for black spot. I took great care with my beautiful roses. And it was so cute because when my son was just a little guy and he was in preschool, well, the way you get rose bushes to keep growing and producing flowers is you have to prune them. You have to cut the flowers off. So he would always take flowers to school for his teacher. I'd wrap them in tin foil. Oh, SoFlo, don't you eat vegan or plant-based? I think you do. Don't be eating any of your mums. Hey, Emmy, how you doing? How's everything going? How's school? That bitch can file every amendment she wants. It's all going the same place. What's Mike got up here? Mike has a turtle. Is that a turtle, Mike? What is that? Is that a little turtle? Well, that's funny. Usually Mike puts not turtles. But okay. Hey, Running Bear, how are you? It's nice to see you. When I saw you the other day, that was the first I'd seen you in a while. I hope everything's been good. Oh my gosh, I just saw this. Oh, well, you're here in this chat, so obviously somebody did something right. Good. I'm glad. I didn't even know. I didn't know anything was going on. Hey, Brittany, how are you? Hi, hey, Mac, how you doing? Hazel Eyes, good afternoon. Hey, Patty, how are you? Oh, you like this one, Patty? I do too. I wish it were bigger. Listen, Moderation is good in some things. Feathers, heels, glitter, sparkle, cars, not so much. Oh, now here's a new name for sure. Welcome. I love that name. Hey, Camry. Oh, Brittany. Listen, here's all you have to know. I'm going to save you a little bit of this, okay? And probably a whole lot of aggravation. There is, I mean, I'm not trying to speak for Mike Stevens, but I think I kind of can, because I've, interacted with him enough. Mike is a diehard Betty fan, and listen, I have never tried to talk him out of that, because why would I? I mean, unlike a lot of people, I don't think I've ever said unsub to XYZ. I mean, I'm not definitively saying it's never happened. I absolutely will say things like, what the hell's wrong with you people? Like, are you dense? Like, is your bulb as dim as hers? Or, I mean, things like that. But much like I will never come on and clap back at somebody or argue with someone over their opinion of like things that don't matter. Like, if you think whatever your, personal feelings you think about me or somebody else, like, everybody's entitled to their opinions. And why would I argue with someone about shit like that? So, but I will tell you, there's nothing, if there is, I haven't seen it or heard it yet. I do not believe there is anything that she could do that he would not justify and excuse on her behalf. And unlike her, I have no problem letting Mike hang out in here and, hit us all over the head a million times with how great she is. I mean, when it gets to the point where it's really bothering the chat, that's when I let the mods do whatever the mods want to do. But and I'm not, while I don't understand it, I mean, I understand it to a point, because listen, we all have people on here that we really like, and maybe somebody else really doesn't like, and will say, I have no idea how, I have no idea why. And so I get it to a point. But I just personally, I do not like this. It would be like me going into Betty's chat and trying to sell everybody in the chat on how wonderful Queen Bee is. And, but be that as it may, just know that you can ask him all the rational, legitimate things. You will not get the answer you're looking for. So just know that going in, and, as long as he doesn't get too out of pocket, then he's, welcome to hang out like everybody else. But believe me, he can even, he gets me there sometimes, and that's usually when he leaves. But okay. Oh, Mike Stevens. Now, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You were in here for hours yesterday, commenting left, right, and center. So you are most certainly allowed to. And excuse me, sir, let's not forget that it's not like you show moi the loyalty you show her. Okay. So if Betty got screenshots of you, even remotely uncomplimentary to her, you know damn good and well you'd be banished forever. So come on now, let's just keep this in reality, okay? Camry, your cat, like all cats like to drink out of the toilet. I don't know what it is. Hey, Menace. Uh, well, you're close. You're conflating two people, but I could see how you could do that because they both kind of look alike. So yeah. Oh, could one of the mods put Menace's link down? Did you see the comment I left you on your disco fever video? And if so, did you answer my question at the end? Menace is a genius. And yes, he did make my intro, so I am, I'm a little partial, but even if he didn't, I mean, he is a genius. And he always manages to showcase Betty in her in the most artful types of ways. Oh, that just reminded me of Mary Poppins. Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. Hi, Mystified Me. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's be honest. How you doing? Hey, London girl. How you doing? Is it cold over there? It's beautiful in Florida today, you guys. It's down. The humidity is up a little bit, but not much. And I think it's low 80s. Ooh, and for Floridians, this is one of our favorite times of the year. If you like seafood, this weekend is the first weekend of stone crab season. If you've never had stone crab, at some point in your life, if you are somewhere where it's in season and you are so inclined, I think stone crab, I like a lot of seafood, but I don't care for tons of fish. Well, here, I'll make it easy. I like fish that taste like chicken. So mahi, blackened, grouper, but it's got to be like, it needed to have just jumped into the boat 30 minutes before it jumps onto my plate. But stone crab is it's got this amazing, like buttery, it's very firm. It's not as soft as snow crab. I personally think that is the best crab. But we can only get it, I think, October. Let's guess at how much it is a pound. I don't even know because this season just opened up today, I believe, or yesterday. So let's see. Florida. Let's see what the season is and how much it is a pound today. Don't fall out of your seat when I tell you because it's very expensive, but it's worth it. It's a treat. It's not something you're gonna order. Well, I mean, some people probably do, but for most people, you'll eat it once in the season, maybe twice if you go out somewhere and they've got it. All right, let's see what the Sun Sentinel. I think that's Orlando. Oh, probably not the place to ask about. Although Orlando is landlocked, but it is not that far from the east coast of Florida. What the hell's the San Pedro Sun? Okay, Florida Fish and Wildlife. Oh, my favorite, the Fish Police. You guys know how much I love them. Okay, the season runs October 15th through May 1st. Oh, I didn't know it started in October. I guess, you know what? I There's a bunch of seafood festivals going on right now, so maybe that's why I thought. Okay. Uh, the 2023-24 stone crab season. Oh God, that's all the regulations. So if you're fishing for it, you can only take 1 gallon of claws per day. It's kind of like lobster, down in the Keys. Now I just want the price. Price per pound. Holy shit. It's always expensive, but whoa, it's real expensive now. The average, this is according to something called bestonecrabs.com blog. Average stone crab claw price in the 2023-24 season is $35 to $75 per pound. I'll tell you, if they're saying 35 on the low end, good luck finding a 35. Claws come in the following 4 sizes: mediums, 35 a pound; large, about 45 a pound; jumbo, 70 a pound; colossal, 75 a pound. So there you have it. Oh, thank you, Gothic or London Girl. Gothic Chic. Did you see the one I wore yesterday? Oh my God. The one I wore yesterday was amazing. Hey, Daisy Jones, how you doing? White boy moves. I was doing some white girl moves before I hit the go live. Let's see, what was the last thing on Lisa's playlist that she was jamming out to? What do you think it was? Make sure I get the name of the song right. Anyone care to venture a guess what I was listening to? I took the AirPods out of my ears when I saw that the intro only had like 15 seconds left. Hey, Shayna B, how are you? Rachel Wolf in the house. Whoops. Refresh. Y'all, I am going to get to my email and my comments this weekend. What book, Mike? The Anarchist Cookbook? Is that the one you're asking? I'm so far behind in the chat. Sorry. I think that's the only book I talked about, though. It is actually from, I believe it was written in the 70s, possibly the late 60s, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a cookbook for not things you eat. Hey, Stargazer Mom, how are you? Love Shack Sarah. God, I can't say that. Love Shack Sarah. What it will come out like if I don't think before I say it is Love Shack Sarah. Wise Angel UK, how are you? Okie Mom. No, you're not late to class. The teacher is trying to get her shit together. I'm still on the attendance. Excuse me. Hi, Michelle. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, it, God, being in between sizes, yeah, that's hard. That really, that is, it's hard to get it. It's honestly, it's tough to strike. Hold on a minute, y'all. This damn, no, never mind. I've got curtains on those windows that I was gonna draw shut. It's too much of a pain in the ass. I tell you what, it's not good to have too much clothing, and it's not good to have too little clothing. Finding the sweet spot, I'd say most of us are still working on that. Mike, did you just call me a share? I prefer cheetah. Okay. No, I'm not a cougar. I'm married. Drew Texan always tells me that I remind him of Cher, but I'm like, Cher's got it. Obviously, it's not the hair. I think it's just it's a listen. It's funny because I've just my whole life I've always been like this. Like I love hats. I'd wear this to the grocery store. I promise you I would, and I wouldn't give it a second thought. But that really it comes from within. I mean, some people, not everybody can pull off a hat because of head shape or face shape or whatever, but I'm telling you, in large parts, your personal style, or because like I said, you're not the first person who's said Cher. I get Lady Gaga a lot. I don't think I even remotely resemble her. And that's like, I have family members that tell me that. I'm like you've known me a long time. Do you think I look anything like her? I do not. But it's not. I've come to realize that that's not what it is. It's the attitude. It's the outward projection of, you have to have confidence to sit around in this, or although this one's not so crazy. The one I wore yesterday was crazy. But when I tell you it was the source of many domestic squabbles between my mother and me, because my mom wanted, a little, like, I came from, when I was an adolescent in middle school, that was the time of preppy. Like, you popped your collars. Sometimes you wore two, like a pink and a green polo, and stand the. No, I was cutting up my sweatshirts a la Flashdance, and I just refused. Like, I would not conform to what she wanted me to. She wanted me to look like all her friends' kids. And I was like, no, that's okay. But it's just, I don't know, it's just something innate within me that, like, I mean, I have family members that will, they'll see me in something, or they'll buy me something and say, oh my God, I would love to wear this. I never have been able to or will be able to, but this is the quote I will usually hear. You can pull off anything. And I don't know if that's so much true, but I believe it. And if you believe it yourself, you will project it outwards. And so I think that's what I've come to decide. When somebody tells me, you remind me of, some fabulous person that I do not deserve that type of compliment. It's not the physical look. It's the attitude. I think that's what it is. But I'll take it. Whatever the hell it is, I'm taking it. Ooh, what was denied? Denied. I love that word. Denied. Oh, no, I need to know what that's about. Oh, is that this? What's adding to my back and neck problems? I'm really shocked that I do not have stained highlighter Sharpie hands everywhere. That's coming, I'm sure. Hey, Kathy P, how are ya? Okay. Just Samantha, how you doing? Blank slate, happy Saturday. We're getting there, I promise. We're almost there. Patty Pebbles. Patty, do you like Fruity Pebbles? Stitching with the sisterlies. Did you by any chance bring stitching, bitching, and true crime with you? You can be the stitching sisterly sisters. It depends on what you're asking. Are you talking leather goods like handbags, or are you talking clothing and accessories? I'd have to think about that. It depends on what, and I promise I am working on that Lisa's favorite things. And I want to get it done well in advance of the holidays. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do my favorite things, but then I'm going to do like a dupe. If it's, we'll do mine and then I'll find one that's somewhat, the best dupe I can find at a lower price, and then also like a splurge. So I am working on that. Hey, Sophie King, how you doing? What the hell is that? Oh, I could yeah, I could see where I can understand why you think that perhaps could be the case. Hey, True Crime Dime. Word travels fast, doesn't it? I tell you what, you guys, that is one thing I freaking love about this place. I love it, but I hate it too. Because I promise you, as a creator, I see that there's evolutions, and as you pick up traction, different things start happening. And one of the things I love, while also sometimes hating, is that people that really like you and think a lot of you, well, let's just say they're always looking out for you. And I just think of my text messaging and my inbox as exactly what it is. It's a little notification, heads up. It's kind of like the game of telephone. Oh, there's Menace's link. His video from this morning, or it probably dropped last night. I'm not sure, but it's just, let's say it's got a disco theme. And I did ask if it was inspired by me. because I did send Menace a lot of disco balls when he was working on that brilliant intro. So you know, of course, much like Betty, I think everything's about me. So Flo, see, I'm not a sushi girl. It's funny here in Florida, where you know most of the time, you know, the sushi is going to be fresh. I don't know. I find there's like you love it or you don't touch it. Like me, no, I think that shit's bait. It's like I don't like any of it. And it's funny because when people will try and convince you why you should like it or how you start to like it, one of the things the California roll. Okay. Oh, no, you'd like the California roll. No, I don't. I don't like seafood, seaweed. I hate sticky white rice. I don't eat raw anything. I don't give a shit. Crab, shrimp, whatever's in it. Tuna, no, no, and no. Thank you. Hey, is it V Caser or V Caser? I don't know if the A is long or not. If you could just let me know further down in the comments, I would love that. I hate to pronounce people's names wrong. DMX. Oh, I didn't tell you. It was Rihanna S&M. I listened to a bunch of good music this morning. Hey, Bama G, how are you? Well, here's what I would say. It's not it, and this, much like having too much is not good and having not enough is also not good. But if I had to choose which direction on the sizing spectrum, give me too small than the other. But it is just as aggravating to have your clothes appear too big and ill-fitting as it is too tight, and that it really is. Y'all didn't know fashion was so serious, did you? Nah, it's not. Hi, Haley Hopes. How are you? BJ Marshall in the house. Yes, I am. God, those were an abomination. You know, it's funny, I have not even thought about her. What the hell is PayPal Mal up to these days? Is she behaving herself? She must be somewhat. I mean, I would think I would have heard of something about her if not. Oh, I don't have mine in here. I was going to show you what I live in. You know, when I'm not in here playing fabulous best dressed legal analyst on the YouTube streets. Yeah, I wear the ugliest. They're called cloudies. They are not cute. But they are comfortable. All right, y'all, we're almost there. Menace, I'm still not seeing an answer to my question. I don't know if I haven't gotten down that far yet, or maybe he's not still here. He's like, look, bitch, I didn't come in here for all this. I've been waiting an hour now for you to rip into Betty. I promise I'm getting there. Hey, Tia, how are ya? Running faster. Okay, there we go. We are at the bottom. Yes. All right, let's get this party started, shall we? Okay, picking up on, let's see, what was the last thing we did? Did we do it? Oh, we had just gotten to exhibit. Remember, I held this up I just held this up and I said, oh my goodness, that looks a lot like. Okay, so I'm going to read the last paragraph of page 6, which references the exhibits. And that'll be exactly where we left off yesterday. So let me try and find a pen color that I haven't already used. Okay, there we go. Okay. During the 12 months preceding this action, Queen Bee made the following statements about BHB during public live stream broadcasts and or videos published on QB's YouTube channel. See exhibits D and E. Okay. Exhibit D. Now, oh, I wish I had grabbed the document. But I think you all will know exactly what I'm talking about in the chat. Oh goodness, pardon me. Let me pick that up. If you saw all of the last, was it the first, the second? I don't know, one of the multiple filings. Well, you will remember, and I showed it very briefly on Alive. It was from Queen Bee's lawyer to Betty, and it was a table that looked very, very similar to this layout. In fact, I think it is this layout. I'm almost positive it just was ripped from that, which, there's nothing wrong with that. And it was, I think it was between 8 and 10 pages of a table like this, laying out every possible conceivable form of discovery, whether it was emails, text messages, phone calls, or as Betty likes to put it very vaguely, those types of, I think she calls them messaging services like Discord. One she just called Messenger, which I'm assuming is Facebook Messenger. And it laid out exactly like this. How, and I remember I was saying how, hey, Truth Seeker, hi, Woodstock, how are you? Let me fix this. It's driving me crazy, this piece right here. Oh, I always forget we're on opposites. I said at the end of class yesterday, I said that I could not, when I read this from Queen Bee's lawyer about discovery and how it was to be provided to their side, and it will apply for them too. I said that alone would have given me, like, I don't even have anxiety, but it would have given me anxiety to even contemplating how to aggregate all that information, because and clearly Betty doesn't know how either. So that's going to be interesting. So let's just see what Exhibit D, which is, what is it supposed to be showing us? 12 months preceding this action. These are things that Betty said about Queen Bee. Number 1, she's got the date, January of 2022. Description. This is the first video. This is the first video QB that I could find. Okay, she left a word out that I could find. Exclamation point, Betty. I know that your whole life is just a series. Betty lives between the exclamation points. Like most of us, you want your life to just be, since we're going to speak metaphorical punctuation, her punctuation game in real life is absurd, non-existent. Not well, it's not non-existent, but she needs to step it up to, the the professional that she is, the journalist that she is. But metaphorically speaking, one doesn't want to have too many exclamation points in their life. You want commas, you maybe want an ellipsis, semicolons, etc. You don't want just a series of exclamation points. So, hi Earth Angel, how are you? So it's not appropriate to be putting exclamation points in legal documents. It is juvenile, it is unprofessional, it's uncalled for. I mean, just fucking she tell her that, what the fuck? This is the first video QB that I could find, exclamation point. She tell her that the state cops already knew me. Okay, so I guess that's supposed to say, she tells her, who's her? She tell her that the state cops already knew me. It is because I called and do y'all see what I'm saying here? Of course you do. A judge and another lawyer. And the judge is JA, I would imagine. Well, that I'm not sure about. I don't think that the JA does. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the judge. But at any rate, a judge is going to read this, another lawyer is going to read this, and quite possibly other legal professionals working in concert with the judge on his daily docket. And right out of the gate, number one, we got improper sentence structure. We've got improper punctuation. It's already got 2 typos out of the gate. But most importantly, we have no earthly idea what in the ever-loving hell she's talking about. Okay? Now, those of us who share a playground with her, obviously we can fill the blanks in a little bit easier for ourselves and try and, interpret Betty's brain up here and what it is she's trying to say. Although truly, I can tell you, as I sit here, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. This is the first video QB that I could find. She tell her, who is her? Does anybody know who her is that she's referring to? Because I do not. And you know what? I tell you, this is where there's something for me that might be an advantage. Well, besides all of the obvious, but this is when I blew up my first channel. It was day 2 when Molly and PayPal Mal got down to Quentin Simon. And I was not even watching. I was so disgusted by this place and the cretins that inhabit it that I was like, I am out. Like, I can't. But so I truly, I do not know. So when I say I have an advantage, it is the fact that I was not watching and or participating in any of this shit show. So I am thinking about it at exactly like a judge is going to be thinking. I'm going to go out on a limb here. And while I do not personally know him, I think I can say with a whole lot of certainty that he is not sitting around watching YouTube drama. So, much like myself, I mean, obviously, I know more than him where the YouTube shit's concerned, but yeah, like this truly is going to be for him. It's going to be like being dropped in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, and you got to figure out like where's the nearest you know, well, someplace that doesn't have golden arches to help you guess where you are. And her lazy, it's funny because it's hard to believe that somebody that, and this is only part of it, that will bang out this quantity and volume of just pure utter drivel, the parts that weren't, you know, ripped from GP3 chat or whatever the hell that thing's called, or JLR or somebody else's. I think this thing is hobbled together. This is like the Frankenstein of lawsuits. It's all hobbled together with shit she's ripped from here and ripped from there. What you're hearing right there, pay very close attention to what it sounds like when this is Betty right here. This is all Betty. So this is her writing style, her English grammar skill set level. This is her. Grammatical errors, punctuation errors, fragmented. That's her. So it sure is interesting in the other parts where, my goodness, it sounds like an educated person speaking. I wonder why that would be. Well, I guess that's for you to decide for yourself. So this is the first video QB that I could find. She tell her that the state cops already knew me. It is because I called and let them know where we were and what our plans were, and they wanted to make sure we had an area until it was well coordinated with state police. Of course, I'm sure it goes without saying, no punctuation in there anywhere. They escorted us to every location we had. And this is indicative and or apropos of what? Then she gives a URL that I've already been told. I have not looked myself, but I've been told by multiple people that the links are all broken and don't work again. And Alex, the final category today will be timestamp. And she puts beginning on exclamation point. Well, that's a new one. I didn't know we had a number that was a symbol, but okay. Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, another date she gives, and this says, talking about Betty's press pass and that it was purchased online. Was it? And your point? I know this. I know as sure as my ass is sitting in this seat, you are not a member of the Associated Press. Were your credentials issued by Reuters or the URL? This is what it says for the URL. Paren 102, close paren, YouTube. What the hell's that? Oh, but she does give a timestamp of 1 minute, 12 seconds. Well, Betty, that's great. So what I'm starting to see here is, in number one, you provided a URL, despite the fact that it's broken, but no timestamp. In number two, you provided a timestamp, but no URL. So maybe are we supposed to just like Frankenstein this all together, and maybe we could just put all this shit into one? You see what I'm saying here? And I'm very sorry, but this is how she chooses to present herself. It's a mess. It is riddled with errors. And even if not everybody cares about shit like that. I do. And you know why I do? Because that's what's, when you are holding yourself out as a journalist, but you can't use proper sentence structure, grammar, spelling, punctuation. I'm sorry. Those are the qualifications for the job. I mean, that's like me calling myself, I'm a surgeon. Oh, well, no, I didn't go to medical school. I had a Fisher-Price first aid doctor kit. Oh my God, I was so great with that thing. Like my sister knew as soon as I walked in the room holding that little plastic doctor's bag with that stethoscope on, she knew, like, lay down, you got to get your blood pressure taken, and then I'm going to give you a shot, of course. So that is, honest to God, the equivalent to me. So you want to judge. And let's remember what round 2 or 3 or 12,000, whatever we're on here. Let's just remember that this is supposed to be the cleaned up, the new and improved version, so that, Queen Bee's lawyer can actually defend his client. Oh, okay, crazy nurse, I just saw this. So did that never happen? She didn't try and add 100-page filing? I will, of course, walk that back then. And that apparently that did not happen. So Betty did not attempt to file another 100 pages. My error. Mystified me, yes. This is the same thing. Okay. Thank you. All right. So for the ones in the back, I'll say it again. That was my misunderstanding. She did not try to file an additional 100 pages once this was filed. She did, however, add another 100 pages, apparently, to the original filing. Okay. Number 3. Description. QB telling Leilani's brother, Betty, no comma. Y'all, just listen. It's going to go without saying for the rest of this as we slog through this. I will add the punctuation where it needs to be when I'm speaking it, okay? But just assume that anything that sounds like it's flowing properly is because I'm using my English grammar skills that are far in excess of Betty's to make it so that y'all don't have to rip your hair out. QB telling Leilani's brother. Now, bear in mind, I don't believe that up to this point in this document, what we went over yesterday, I've thrown on the floor. But up to this point, she has not mentioned, I don't believe Quentin Simon's been mentioned yet. So this judge now is going, who's Leilani? Who the hell's Leilani's brother? I mean, it's just, this is insanity. QB telling Leilani's brother Betty is threatening to harass and stab, in all caps, of course, Betty. This is a court filing, moron. This isn't you rage texting or drunk texting to your mommy, at the end of one of your live streams. It's a court document. You do not need to capitalize, salacious words. The judge will fully appreciate the concept of, and trust me, that's what he's going to want to do to you before this is, before you appear in front of him too many times. Yeah, of course, that's for entertainment purposes. Betty, I know you don't have a sense of humor, so this would be a place I need to explain that so you don't try and sue me for mine. But yeah, Betty, that's, hyperbole, or as Betty calls it, hyperbole, sarcasm, dark humor, sardonic wit. Oh, that one will really throw her. Stab, to harass and stab them, and QB had clips to send to his email to get a restraining order, saying Betty door dashed lube to their house. I cannot even believe that I am sitting here reading this shit off a court document. What do you think this judge is going to say? Gosh, the judge will probably want to take up knitting before it's over. QB telling Leilani's brother Betty is threatening to harass and stab them. And QB had clips to send to his email to get a restraining order, saying Betty door dashed lube to their house. I literally just have 4 question marks going across there. Like, she is kind enough this time on try number 3. We finally have a URL link and we have a timestamp. It's probably dead and not working, but number 4, QB telling her and QB telling her audience her ink was getting so low, apparently, that it's very difficult to read part of the words. QB telling her audience to all send Betty a C&D letter, to which I said, so what? So what if she did? It's not illegal. And my guess would be, Betty, bitch, if I thought sending you a C&D would make you shut up and sit down, I'd send you one every day of the week. It is not illegal to do that. There's a link, there's a timestamp. I'm wondering if so far any of you have heard one bit of relevant, pertinent information to the statement that references this exhibit, because I have not. If you had, please, by all means, fill me in. Number 5, QB talking with, I think it's a Savage, about, y'all, it is so difficult to read it. QB talk, which I'm sure the judge will greatly appreciate. God, QB talking with Savage. My best guess is that it says about Betty being in handcuffs 43 times, insinuating Betty has been arrested 43 times. That, Betty is correct about that. I'm not saying she's correct about Queen Bee saying it, because I didn't hear that and I have no idea if she said it or not. Betty has not been arrested 43 times. I hear that all the time from different creators. Betty has 43 entries in the criminal and or civil docket. I believe her arrests are between 5 and 8, I think. So that Betty is correct when she says that she has not been arrested 43 times. That is true. And that is why you have never heard me say she has been. I say I always try to choose the proper words and to choose them carefully, which is why you've always heard me say she has 43 or whatever the number is entries in the civil and or criminal docket. Okay. Then there's a URL and a timestamp. Number 6. Venomously calling. I'm telling you, I absolutely cannot even begin to guess what the next word is. The only reason I think that the following word must be Betty is because I can somewhat make out an E and a Y. Venomously calling. I cannot make out the next 2 words. I think the third one says fucking bitch inside and out. To which I wrote opinion and true, in my opinion. Betty, it's not against the law for someone to venomously say you're a fucking bitch inside and out, if that's what was said. It's just not, Betty. Number 7. I'm shocked that she would turn this in when, I mean, all the convoluted insanity aside, the fact that it's barely legible. The further down it gets, the more difficult it is to read. Why didn't you? Ugh. And what's weird, you guys, it's not my printer. Because everything else, like in her filings, it's clear as day. So her quality was trash. So I don't know where she ripped it, but okay, next one. Number 7. Hey, Forgotten Whisper. How are you? QB says Betty stole two words I cannot make out at all. Memorial video from family's page, put it on her channel and monetized it. QB, something I cannot read. Oh, it must say contacted. QB contacted Ethan's mother, who she is grieving, and told her about internet drama and how to strike Betty's channel. To which I wrote, so what? And that I don't have any clue if any of that is even remotely factual. But even if I went right along with Betty and agreed with every word, took it as truth. And none of that is actionable. I cannot believe that this is a complaint in excess of 200 pages, and it is written like a fucking middle schooler did it the night before it was due. Number 8, QB asking everyone something to sub up and go to Betty's channel as blank, I guess, blank screen. So what? I could tell. Crazy Nurse, I am reading it as it is typed, as best as I can. I'm having to guess at one or two of the words based on the part that is legible behind it that I can read, so I can put the context, but I'm only able to guess the words based on the context. I'm going to hold this up as close as I can. I promise you, I am reading it as it is typed. Hey, Amberly, how you doing? Number 8. Oh, I'm sorry, we just did that one. Number 9. Clip on Penny's channel where Queen Bee shares the protesters. Now this one has a link with no timestamp. And oh, by the way, man, who the fuck is Penny? You see what I'm talking about? I mean, this is such absolute drivel. Like, I cannot. Betty, you need help. And I don't just mean with your journalistic English skills. Yeah. That you could even think that this was worthy, that this is something a judge or a lawyer should be wasting our taxpayers' time with. I have never seen someone so inept. Betty, you are the only one, seemingly, who doesn't understand what's going on here. Number 10. Telling heel. We're starting off like this is a fragment right here. Telling Heels that she has 300 blank screens and a new bullhorn so she can invade Betty's live stream. Betty, comedy, I almost said hyperbole. Hyperbole, sarcasm, humor, just because you don't have any. Number 11. I believe this is one of the first videos QB started where she started to incite her audience about me and other creators. Paren, 1 year ago, close paren. Of course, I wrote, you believe? I know you must have been real busy banging out 225 pages of trash, but couldn't you have been bothered, I don't know, before you filed it to be certain? This is the very first time it occurred. Well, I believe that's the first time, but who knows? Wow. I believe this is one of the first videos QB started where she started to incite her audience about me and other creators. They state, who's they? They state state we never searched for summer. As if the judge knows who the fuck summer. Like, isn't that what comes after spring and before fall? What? We searched for days, and we met with law enforcement twice in 2 days for a total of 4 hours to report our finding. Our finding, singular. Ooh, even a broken clock is right twice a day. And to provide them with an interview we had with a possible witness family. God, you stupid ass bitch. Yeah, that's you. You know what that amounts to? That amounts to law enforcement humoring your dumbasses and giving you, if you said they spent 4 hours with you, that was 3 hours and 45 minutes too much. Can you see these morons rolling up in there? Betty and her fucking, you got Molly with her, 100 pounds of tits hanging out, I'm sure, despite the fact that there was snow on the ground, because, Molly leads with those boobs. I like to lead with this. These aren't far behind, but and then you got Betty looking the absolute, like, I mean, she looks homeless most of the time. And then you got JLR wearing his tights on his arms and his tights on his legs and his little beanie hat. Was he carrying his clipboard? Was he carrying a clipboard around going, justice for Summer? Where is Summer Wells? Where is Summer Wells? Right around. I mean, I could, yeah. You imagine that clown posse rolls up in your police department. We want to provide you with an interview. I'm not a moron like Betty. So what my inclination would be to say that I'm not going to, because I haven't read the appropriate statute, and I don't know if it rises to the level of this or not. But, some would say that that's tampering. I do not know if it is or not, because as I just stated, I didn't take the time to go and look. But even if it is not, Mike, I don't think I would be advertising. It's not a good, don't put that on your resume that you think Betty's a lot smarter than you. Mike, are you by any chance a potted plant? Are you a fern? What? I mean, nobody is. Oh, God. But the last thing in this world any investigation needs, it doesn't need that stupid bitch. It doesn't need me. It doesn't need you. It does not need non-professionally trained interviewers getting involved in an open case so that they can get paid for their fantasy pretend job as a journalist who's got a fucking fluency level, written and or verbal, slightly higher on the verbal, but written, I'm always very generous when I say high school. But none of these investigations need not the hogs, not the Payless hogs, not the slogs, none of it. This is like being in the Twilight Zone. It is. Betty, I promise you this. There is nobody in this world who thinks you are anywhere near as important as you believe yourself to be. We searched vacant. Now, so bear in mind, this judge has no earthly idea who all these people are that she's just randomly naming. We searched vacant buildings, spoke with neighbors. We even found people on the other side of the mountain that had information about what they heard that day that law enforcement never interviewed, and we notified LE of them. Oh, thank God. Oh, and look, I mean, look where we are now, thanks to them. Yeah. This is all self-serving bullshit. And we don't have a URL, but we have what looks like an actual, there's an icon that I'm guessing you could click on. Timestamp. Beginning. What's he supposed to do? Sit until the 12th of never and just keep reading until he gets to the good part. Number 12. QB telling her panel that Betty was exploiting Michael Vaughn's case. Something I can't read. During Quentin Simon's case. The judge has no clue who the hell Michael Vaughn's case is. They want, during Quentin Simon case, they want something on Betty's ass every day, and we all come together for the greater good to get the shit stopped. Not illegal, not actionable. And I agree with Queen Bee. If that's what was, I mean, honest to God, I don't, how can you call yourself a grown-up and think that anything that we have read thus far, A, the judge will even remotely begin to understand? True crime time, I don't have a clue. But, when the crazy nurse, when he gets to the point where everybody is annoyed, do whatever you got to do. This one has a URL, and it has a timestamp. Number 13, QB stating that she QB stating that it's like so hard to read. QB stating that she made Betty cancel her coffee club due to the blank screens and said now, bear in mind, this judge is like, blank screens? What's wrong? What's this about a blank screen? This judge has no idea who blank screen is. There's no like @ or hashtag or anything. So I'm sure like most normal people are going to think blank screen means there's something wrong with the picture. Oh, hey, Liza. Thank you. QB stating that she made Betty cancel her coffee club due to blank screens and said they will get her tomorrow. You have FAFO, and you are a crybaby ass. Yes, absolutely. And my note says nobody can make you do anything. Queen Bee cannot make you, me, and a dog named Boo. Just like I can't make Mike see the light, see, you know, I can't drag Mike from the dark side, so I don't even try. See how that works? Like nobody, I can tell Mike right now, as most of this chat is telling him, what a dumbass Betty is. And, you know, their opinions that she's, you know, a bag of shit. But he's not going to change his mind, okay? And I can tell him all day long that he needs to go over to Betty's and he needs to start singing my praises, which we all know he does not. He does, in fact, he does the opposite. He goes over there and he shit talks me. Do I care? No. So, Betty, that's a false premise. It's a fallacy. And Mike, maybe you can help Betty with this. Maybe you can sit down with her with your crayons and maybe you can draw it. You know, I saw a saying that I loved and it said, I can color it for you, but I can't understand it for you. So I don't know, Mike, maybe you can help Betty with that. She needs help. She needs a lot of help. And I don't know, maybe you've got what she needs, Mike. So yeah, there's nothing actionable about any of that. And I will repeat what I said yesterday. I do believe that the US government and actually many foreign governments, they may want to consider reaching out to Queen Bee and, you know, just seeing if they could employ her services, because apparently she is quite persuasive, and not just persuasive, but seemingly magical as well. And I hear that surveillance, online and real life, are really her specialty. So, you know, just saying, we got a lot of really highly high conflict, you know, real world shit going on out here that you know, if she can do all this here, I don't know, there might be several jobs waiting for her out there in the wild. Queen Bee, that is, you know, based on her ninja skills here on YouTube. Hey, cutie pie, how you doing? Amberly, my husband, yeah, he just rolls his eyes when I'm like, oh my God, you are not gonna believe what that dumb bitch, and he's like, oh God, honey, I don't care. That's his first thing he always says. I don't care, which is always followed very quickly by, I do not understand why you want to fuck around with those people. I'm still, you know, I'm still perfecting that argument because he does have a point. I mean, number 5,487, also known as 14. It just feels like 5,000. Blah, blah. I mean, I'm getting a callus on my left ass cheek from, you know, sitting. It not only is it really hurting my sciatic nerve, it's, oh yeah, my hips going numb. But I don't, you know, I'm sorry. Like Betty sits in a plastic gamer chair. I sit in this fabulous. Can you see this? Crimes and fashion, custom embroidered director's chair with, I sit on this. This is Mongolian lamb. This is not polyester faux fur. So I've tried everything I can do to mitigate the damage to said left gluteus maximus. Some days more maximus than others, but what did I just say? 14. I'm thinking I'm going to be collecting Social Security before this is over, truly. Hey, Chris Cress, how you doing? Beer Can, how are you? Girl, you find me the book. What do you think? Maybe John Grisham, the Pelican Brief? What do we call this? The Manifesto of Madness. The masochistic manifesto for butthurt bitch holes. 14. You know, it's funny you said that, Beer Can. True story. One of my dearest friends found out that one of her neighbors, who they've lived there a long time, but you know, they know each other to do that, but they kind of keep opposite hours. They had a homeowners association, the board. She's on the board. I'm like, girl, what the hell did you sign up for that shit for? And she's like, trust me, I didn't. I was drafted into it. I think she's the secretary, whatever it was. If they didn't get somebody from the neighborhood, and it's a very small neighborhood, but if they didn't get somebody from the neighborhood to volunteer to do it, they were going to have to pay somebody to do it because their bylaws, like, it's non-negotiable. You have to have it. Well, she found out at one of these meetings that the guy down the street, he is a very well-known, and she didn't tell me the name, but apparently he's got a damn state-of-the-art high-tech sound booth in that house. One of the rooms is an office. He is a professional narrator, but mainly he does a lot of like movie voiceovers. I was like, well, damn, that's cool. Can I go knock on his door next time? 14. QB telling her audience, I think that says, yeah. QB telling her audience that Betty has a fake little press badge. I think it says badge. And that she is not media. To which I put, you are not a member of the credentialed mainstream media to the best of my knowledge. Betty, if you told me water was wet, I'd get a second opinion. And I base that on what I've said at least 97 times just since I started this live. And that is, traditionally, most that not only call themselves a journalist, but are, more importantly, recognized by their peers in the real credentialed media. Well, most of them know how to use punctuation, grammar, proper English, sentence structure, etc. Kind of like Menace's video from this morning or yesterday, whenever it was, the disco theme, where JLR is verbally accosting Carly Russell and her family, and the real media who's standing out there turns around and gives him an earful about, you know, sir, you're not running the show here. That's kind of why. So put that in your press badge and smoke it. Number 15. Holy shit. The hits just keep coming. Number 15, this is what it says. The lady sent by I think it says Queen Bee and her crew. That's the entirety of it. The lady sent by Queen Bee and her crew. So now Betty is using slang, euphemisms, colloquialisms. I mean, Betty, I'm since the judge probably is not hanging out in Krama in his spare time, is it at all possible that when he hears crew, like most normal people, he might think that she actually has, like, some type of, I don't know, a cleaning crew, a production crew, a lawn crew? What he's probably not thinking is, you know, anywhere between 6 and 1,000 people in a live chat that Betty is euphemistically calling the crew. It's so juvenile. Listen, this is the Claire's boutique of lawsuits. If I wrote this lawsuit, well, I mean, it may not be Bergdorf Goodman, but it's not Claire's. I am firmly aiming for Nordstrom status at the very least. Okay. The lady sent by Queen Bee and her crew. And we then have not a link URL. It looks like a small screenshot that says power to the baby. And then I see a K. And the timestamp, the entire thing. Oh, if anybody could give me an idea of how long, quote, the entire thing is, that I want to see. Because I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 6-hour live stream and Betty said, oh, the entire thing, just watch it all. What else do you have to do? Oh, I don't know. Mix up a nice batch of arsenic cookies to OD on, so I don't have to come back to work on Monday and deal with this. Number 16. Oh, this, we're going to start with parentheses, right? Oh, it's interesting. Paren, the Hive channel. Close paren. Queen Bee calling Betty's something that's, quote, hate channel. Well, Betty, you know what I wrote here? I have heard you dox, threaten, rage, what looks a whole hell of a lot like extortion and or blackmail when you're having a bad day. So I don't think it's hard to, give me 1 second, you guys. I don't think it's difficult to, I can entirely see. Yeah, it's interesting. She likes to call everybody that disagrees with her or points out her obvious bullshit a hate channel. But Betty, you do an awful lot of that yourself from I'm tired of dealing with him. Okay. Well, Mike, you made it. Oh, you were 30 seconds short of making it 2 hours that I put up with you. But yeah. I don't know, Mike, our divorce might be back on. We were reunited and it kind of felt so good for a little while, but yeah, no, I'm really not getting that vibe anymore. You're really just starting to aggravate me again. I mean, Mike, I'm going to need you to do I can't do all the heavy lifting in this relationship. Okay. Like all you do is take advantage of my good and sweet nature. And you certainly have not, let's just say this. In large part, I keep you around for the obviously, very true but gratuitous compliments. And you've been very much lacking in that department of late. So, I'm going to need a little more of an incentive to keep him around. So, if you're in timeout for a few minutes, you might want to, think you should think on that while you're sitting in the corner, okay? Um, number 16. Oh, that was 16. Number 17. Paren, the Hive channel again. Queen Bee admits that. Okay, I can see is forever. So I'm assuming that the part that I cannot see at all says the internet. The internet is forever, which directly supports and something points in the lawsuit. English, please. Can we get some of that? And I said, yes, the internet is forever, Betty. What's the problem? Why is that of note? Oh my God. Number 18. Verbatim. She monitoring what I'm doing and referring to my audience and donors in derogatory ways, referring to them as pay piggies. Hey, bitch, you and your dumbasses, yeah, they're pay piggies. Oink, oink. You gonna sue me? That's my opinion. I think that anybody who hears this shit and all the rest of this garbage and thinks that you are some kind of legal scholar, hell, you're not a high school scholar. To me, that indicates, maybe not for 100% of your audience, but for a very large majority of them, that indicates a deficit of IQ points, in my opinion. And I'm allowed to have that opinion. And I'm allowed to call them pay piggies. I'm allowed to call them whatever I would like, as long as it's not, illegal, defaming. Me calling someone a pay piggy, what of it? Oh, and by the way, Betty, yet another example of you being incredibly vague. She monitoring what I'm doing. Is that like the dramatic version of every once in a while you got to go to the bitch's channel to get to see what she's doing? Or you see her on one of the many clip channels. Betty, do you ever wonder why so many people can't stand you? Do you? I doubt it. But monitoring you? Well, you're going to need to get more specific, Betty. I'm going to need some GPS coordinates. I'm going to need something, because I could say that everybody in this chat is monitoring me. And they are for the time being. But in this monitoring you is synonymous with watching your terrible content that apparently is your calling card as a journalist, as an investigator, how many jobs you doing these days, Bets? You wear a lot of hats, I know. No, actually, you should wear a hat because, well, we've been over that ad nauseum. Oh, and by the way, Betty, the judge is going to have no clue what a paid piggy is. That is what this will be a big word that I'm sure you will have no idea what it means. So I'm going to help you out. That's what we refer to as like a colloquialism, um, vernacular, nomenclature. I mean, nomenclature is usually referring to something very, very, very specific to a certain industry. Well, I actually think it could apply here, but the judge is more than likely going to think you are referring to something that happened at maybe a Piggly Wiggly grocery store, dumbass. And yeah, that is my opinion. It is my opinion you are a dumbass. And I base that opinion on, oh, all of this and all the things over what seems like the eternity that you have quite unfortunately invaded my living room. Uh, so yeah, Betty, in the future, you might want to first of all start off by telling who she is. Betty, does she by any chance hang out with we and us and them and they? I'm just wondering. Um, and you also might want to do, since you are such a fan of exhibits, well, perhaps you should consider like either a glossary or an index. How about footnotes? Footnotes to an index that, well, never mind. Never mind. Well, I ain't helping that bitch. Yeah, because like if you'd ever really been to a real college or probably even graduate in high school. I know in high school, I had to write a research paper. It was obviously much more intensive. Hey, Striker Force, it was much more intensive when I was in college. That was a real research paper. It had to have footnotes, index, glossary. The sites had to come from, oh God, anybody who's in education. Emmy, help me out. What do they call? What is the organization that when you do footnotes, you cite from? It's kind of like for those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, because I'm not explaining it very well, when citing sources or source documents or direct quotations, etc., you unless you're into plagiarism, you must cite that, and you have to cite it using very specific I guess procedures you would call it. It's a recognized English language group that defines how it's kind of like the DSM for, psychiatric and psychological conditions. How they have to, everything is contained in that book so that the qualifications that one must meet to be diagnosed with, oh, I don't know, let's say schizophrenic or oppositional defiant. Isn't there some kind of rage disorder? Yeah, those kinds of things. And that's so that if you start off with Dr. John Doe, but then you decide that, like everybody, that Dr. John Doe, that you hate him, like you hate everyone else in the world. And then you find another doctor that, you might be able to get along with for a little while. Well, when you leave Dr. Doe, and go to Jane Doe, Dr. Jane needs to be able to know that when Dr. John said, oh, yes, you've got this, that, and the other, and 2,700 other things, with side order of bipolar. I don't know. But that so that everybody's on the same page, that if this one says you've got bipolar, well, that one knows you have it as well because you've met this criteria. Okay, is it the APA? Okay, listen, it's been 100 years since I had to do footnotes and all that kind of stuff, so APA sounds right. But it's the same thing, and it's just a standardized format for how you cite source materials. Yeah, Betty, you might want to look into that. Number 19. QB talks about what a great video theirs made. No punctuation at all. And then she drops down. One more time for old Lang Syne. QB talks about what a great video. Oh, Heels made. Okay. QB talks about what a great video Heels made. Still no paragraph or no punctuation. Then she drops down. I'm not sure why she didn't just put a period and then start a sentence, or I don't know, a comma. Directly beneath this says, who wants to go to my chat? Something when you're constantly screaming about a guy named blank screen. Who wants to watch? Like, your guess is as good as mine as to what that is supposed to mean, what it is supposed to indicate, and why in the hell she thinks that is actionable. Number 20, the Hive channel. QB saying an I guess that says MS-13 gang member who brutally murdered someone has a rap sheet damn near almost as long as Betty's. The crime the suspect committed was being called demonic. And you know what I put? I said, was it? When she said, allegedly, that has a rap sheet almost as long as Betty's. Well, maybe it was. I mean, that could very well be true. I don't know if it is or not, because I don't know, number one, who the hell you're talking about, and number two, I don't know how long the man's rap sheet was. I mean, just because he brutally killed someone, I think Betty has, at the very least, I believe she's got 5 arrests, and it might be as many as 8. So, do you think that just because the man committed, and I'll take her at her word, she would know demonic, I would imagine, just because the man committed a murder that was demonic, that does not necessitate that he had 27 prior arrests. That could have been his, that could have been his first time out of the gate. Some people, subscribe to go big or go home. I don't know. I mean, I would agree that typically someone who Sarah, she's got 42 entries in the docket. She has not been arrested 42 times. There are 42 entries noted for various things, but many of those things came out of the one arrest. She has not been arrested 43 times or 42 times. If she had been, you would have all those mugshots. That's why you've only got however many mugshots she's got. But anyway. Number 21, the Hive channel. QB, heels, and voices. Oh, voices, congratulations. I think this is your first time making your esteemed appearance in this lawsuit where she mentions you. So we've got QB, heels, and voices. Something, I think it says, I think, and I'm basing this on the other words right after it because I can't see this word. Talk, I think it says talk about the monetization of her Queen Bee channel, just in case she tries to say she doesn't care about the money. So what? So what? If that is verbatim, word for word, what she says, what the hell? Why is that in here? Why do you think anybody gives a shit? This lawsuit, all joking aside, this lawsuit could have been probably, if it wasn't her, if it had been someone who actually knew how to write and who knew jack shit all about the law and didn't get all her legal information from GP chat, whatever the hell that thing's called, or, straight up lifted it off of one of JLR's many lawsuits. If, let's just say maybe it was somebody like me who actually gave a shit about how a legal filing that is going to be read by judges, lawyers, etc., cares about what you're going to look like. That people aren't sitting back and, because for me, the best I would hope for would be that nobody would be sitting back like they're going to be doing with her, none of the real professionals. The best I could ask or hope for would be that they would say, well, you know what? She's not a lawyer, but for a pro se defendant, it's not very difficult to deal with her. And she's not making the process take 3 fucking times as long as it should, which to me is a combination of her utter ignorance, and I mean that literally and figuratively. Her temper tantrums, her trial strategy, which is basically just dump mountains of filings on Queen Bee in an effort to, it's kind of like financial, it's a strategy, and we all know what it is. I'm not going to articulate it anymore. But this could have been done quite effectively in, I would say, 20 pages or less. There is no need for all this shit. This is nothing more than a spoiled little bitch who is not very bright. And that is my opinion, and I am entitled to it. And at least I base my opinion on her absolute, in writing and verbal inabilities, we'll just say. That is all this is. It's nothing but, it's just temper tantrums. And it's her love of hearing herself speak, and what this bitch so badly thirsts for her unquenchable thirst, and the one thing she will never have for any number of reasons, is respect. She wants people to sit back and see this mountain of bullshit. All the YouTube community, the judge, the lawyer, Queen Bee. She wants everybody to see this and go, "Oh my God, Betty is so smart. Look at that. Betty should have been a lawyer. You're a clown." And quantity is not synonymous with quality, legal knowledge, or IQ points. Anybody can try and bury someone in filings, you moron. And let's not forget, there's only one party that's paying out the ass for a high-priced lawyer, and it ain't her. So yeah, Betty, what you yearn for, and I don't have to know her to know any of this. All you have to do is have eyes and ears and be reasonably intelligent. Betty thinks that she can demand respect. She thinks she can bully you into respecting her. And if that fails, then she will try and bully you into not talking about her to show her for the clown that she is. So Betty, you just keep it up, okay? But mark my words, you will never have the respect of any of the people that you think are your peers, because they're not your peers. You are a joke. I promise you, all the real legal professionals who have ever interacted with you, but most especially the ones that are unfortunate enough to have to interact with you on this, of course, they can't tell you they're laughing at you. They are. The reason you don't have respect, and I'm pretty sure she's never had it at any point in her life by any of the people that she should have gotten it from. Because if she had, and if she had felt valued and like she mattered, I don't think she would be the nasty little shitbag tyrant that she is today. So that's why it's like the thirst is unquenchable, and the more disrespect she gets, deservedly, the more she thinks she can do shit like this. She can file. I think she sees this as twofold. Like, well, I'm going to show everybody how smart I am and how capable I am. And at the same time, I'm going to get that mean bitch to stop talking about me. Even if you did, which, trust me, it ain't never going to happen. But even if you did, you're going to spend the rest of your life doing that? Because you can't possibly think that Queen Bee or me or that we're the, or anybody else that talks about you, oh, kind of like, Emmy, like in my estimation, what you did to her, that looks a lot like extortion. We already went over the definition of extortion, and when you are basically threatening someone with an unpleasant, and while I guess legal, exposing their anonymity, it's unethical and immoral. But we all know you wear that name badge, that's for sure. So Betty has no qualms about doing shit like that. So, that's a perfect example of what like, this is what gets Betty off, okay? And this is where a lot of shitbag people like her live. They live in that place of, well, it's legal, but it's very unethical, and it's not fair play. But see, tyrants and little bitches like her, they don't have scruples and moral compasses like we do. To her, I would imagine the end justifies any and all means. That is the mindset that allows her to put her fat ass in her car and go and stand in front of someone's house and scream and yell and carry on and call them names, filthy names, horrible names, and not just the person who, by the way, hadn't even been arrested yet, but all of the family members, despite the fact that she's not privy to any of the evidence or anything like that. Nothing more than the rest of us are, just shit on the news or the internet. So you see, normal people like you and me, normal thinking people, let me tell you something. There's nobody besides family that I'm going to go stand in front of a house because I'm so fucking thirsty for attention that any attention will suffice. And Betty, by the way, since you do love this, the national spotlight so much, could you get a pair of shorts that fit? Okay. And you need to work on for somebody who's so thirsty for attention, you got to up your game. Okay. Because you're very forgettable. Well, actually, you're memorable for all the wrong reasons. But those are people like Betty that's the person who seemingly lives her life in this place of we are backed up. If this is legal, well, we're right here. And oops, every once in a while, well, at least in the past, we've fallen right over that line. Oh, but now everything we do is lawful. So yes, while it may be lawful to go and carry on like you're at some white trash tailgate where you overtake a neighborhood. And I notice she now all of a sudden wants to kind of like, she wants to distance herself from that. Oh, well, protesting, that's only a small part of what we do. Well, what's the other part that you do? We know it's not right. Like a college graduate, we know it's not that. So why all of a sudden you're trying to, oh, that's just a small part. It used to be, oh, wait, I do what needs to get done to bring attention to these cases. So just remember, here's the line. This is lawful. We'll call this lawful. I mean, I just call it legal. But when you're always like 2 steps behind in your mind, which I promise you, she's at least 2 steps behind me. You got to scramble around and always be. It's interesting how people who let's just say a lot of contrived things. It's usually very obvious to me. I noticed, Betty, another thing you might want to work on. You got a really bad tell. Menace to Sobriety pointed it out as well. And trust me, it's not just the 2 of us who've noticed, but Betty definitely has a tell. What it tells, I don't know. I could guess, but you'll see her sitting at her desk and she'll Usually that happens when she's talking just about, oh, how, what, all her warm, just, oh, her good, warm, loving feelings for other human beings and why she does what she does. Of course, it doesn't have anything to do with money. Come on. Don't be so cynical. Um, you might want to work on that, Bets, because it's rather off-putting. But so just remember, lawful. Um, people who live here, yeah, most of us, we just live in the real world, and we just, I don't know, aren't criminals. So we don't go and scream and yell and carry on and call people, try and get people fired from their jobs, actually get people fired from their jobs, do anything in the world to see our left ass cheek hanging out of a coochie cutter pair of shorts on the worldwide news. Well, Betty, they might have been more forgiving in Europe. It's a good thing they play your clips in Europe, because Europeans, they're not all hung up on their bodies like we are. They're, nudity doesn't bother them. Although I don't know, take France out of that equation, because the French are très chic. Yeah, no, the French would be very opposed to you. But now, if you were nude, they'd be okay with that. But the fashion, oh no, they would be very offended. But yeah, those of us who are just out here living, trying to live our lives and, take care of our families and be good to our friends and, try and contribute something to society. And, just, it's not that hard to, I don't need to be a walking statute book. I don't need to know where lawful, what's the intersection of lawful and, honey, call the bail bondsman on speed dial. What? No, because we don't do shit to need to know that. You do shit to need to know that. You are the kind of person that will go and overtake a neighborhood under the guise of, oh, it's for the children. You just love that baby. So you didn't even know that kid. You knew none of those people. And do not sit here and tell me, oh, I loved that child. That's weird. Normal people, we see something horrible and tragic like that, and we just sit back and are just disgusted and cannot fathom what could allow someone to do such a thing. What's interesting is what I think you do. I think that's the part you leave out. See, that's the part in all of the normal thinking people like me that is an automatic, what do they call that? Certain things your body does. And is it called like an crazy nurse? What do they call that? Is that an there's a term for the things your body does without thinking about it. Breathing, blinking. Isn't that an autonomic? At any rate, people like us, that's just that you don't have to think about it. Autonomous, yes. That is our autonomous reaction. If you are semi-warm, semi-breathing, in the mammal category, that's just what you think and feel automatically. But you would never go and stand in front of some murder suspect's house and demand that, everybody in that house be arrested, call in baby killers, interview the neighbors, try and get them fired from their job. You will do all of that, but you know what I'd be willing to bet? I'd be willing to bet that when you say you care so much, just for me personally and in my opinion, I think you actually don't care at all. I think that tragedy is just a means to an end. It's just a vehicle for you to get paid, get to see yourself on, the world stage. Wait until they call you for an interview. Woo! Get them all in at one time, honey, because it'll be a one and done. Okay. I mean, it's one thing to have somebody interviewed that's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but typically, if they keep calling you back for more, well, you must have something the audience likes. And I mean, I'm just saying, I don't. Yeah. So yeah, Betty, you can have all the hundreds of pages of temper tantrums, aka lawsuits, but you will never ever get the respect that you long for, think you deserve, and demand. You just won't. Because you don't. Respect is given to people who earn it, and they earn it by all kinds of ways. And I'm sorry, I'm not your life coach, okay? It's not here. I'm not here to try and help you get the one thing that you yearn for and will never have. That's for you to figure out. But I will tell you that what you're doing, it is not helping you achieve that. Oh, hi, Earth Angel. How are you? Scorpio Sting, T. Marie. Hey, Grain, did I say hi to you? Okay. We're going to try and guide you guys. I'm not kidding. When I tell you I'm going to be on Social Security before we get through this. Oh, this one paragraph, it's barely legible. To number 23, QB saying she doesn't, I think it says go real life. No punctuation, of course. Next, she drops down 2 spaces. QB saying the something the vial and something to disrupt Betty's live with truly I not even 50% of it can I read, so sorry, I'm skipping that one. Trust me, I'm sure it's in the same vein as all the others. Number 24, QB admits she is a hate channel. I wrote sarcasm, perhaps. Betty, she could not be this dense, could she? Does she really take everything? You know what? Actually, I'm going to walk that back because I have seen several times in my life people that are not very smart. They don't understand nuance, sarcasm, humor to some, but a lot not. And another trait I see in her, they're often not able to finesse things. There are ways when having to discuss or attempting to entice or cajole or even stronger words people into either doing or not doing something you want them to do. See, Betty, Normal thinking people, smart people, they don't have to like sue you to get you to either do something or not do something. They find ways. Sometimes it might take more than one ask, but there are ways to finesse things. No, and it is, I have to say, I've seen it more here on YouTube. I've seen more instances of, because I don't surround myself in real life with people that are not very bright. It does seem to be a commonality amongst people that are not that bright, that they don't understand the finer points of persuasion, we'll just say, or humor. Like all they know is, either hitting in the face someone else, or they need to get hit in the face, metaphorically, of course, before they understand what you're, oh, is B Tim not a, what does this say? Yeah, I mean, like a dry sense of humor. No, no. QB condones and laughs. I think it says at a subscriber, something, a YouTube handle, and something about Tampa, Florida FBI. And then she drops down again and makes another sentence. Of course, no punctuation. QB telling people to block Betty's mods before going into troll as blank screen. Who cares? And the judge, probably much like myself before coming to YouTube, a troll was just, something that lived under a bridge in the Billy Goat's Gruff fairy tale. I mean, or he might think it's a yard gnome. Like all these colloquialisms that you were too stupid to bother to inform the judge of. Yeah, but Menace, you know what I think the difference is? And I agree. But here's the difference. JLR is intellectually her superior, okay? And I think he very much, and a lot of it might have to do because he's a man, but I think he has a much better self-image than she does, because I know that all of this comes across as her being a narcissist. I mean, Laura thinks she's a narcissist. It always makes me laugh because Laura thinks everybody's a narcissist. And I mean, maybe everybody she talks about is. I mean, I'm just being funny. But I mean, that is a Laura-ism. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard Laura not call somebody a narcissist. And she's probably right. But while in Betty's case, I've always said this, and I believe it. What appears to all of us to be narcissistic and to, be what back in the day we used to call conceited, stuck up, full of herself, arrogance, is actually a woman who is deeply insecure and riddled with inadequacies. Because were she not she wouldn't act like this. So, oh, listen, I am not a fan of JLR by any stretch of the imagination. But when he hit 100,000, I gave him props. I don't have to like the man to give him the respect he's due for reaching that milestone. I mean, that's a big deal. And he has been a million times smarter in the way he's in the evolution of his YouTube career. He listen, he was smart enough to know before any of them that having Betty around your neck like a cinder block, that association, it does nothing but taint him in a very negative way. Olivia's young and hot. She can overcome that cinder block anytime she wants. Sorry, it looked like I had something in my teeth. I'm like, damn, I didn't need anything before I came in here. Crazy nurse, I would go along with that as well. But he definitely, JLR, I think JLR, some of the qualities he has in spades that she has none of, apparently. He's patient. He can see the long game. He has, and I would imagine that prison taught him quite a bit about patience. I mean, he gave her very good advice as far as, and this came out of her own mouth. And well, I guess she did try, but when he told her, you know, she's made light of it several times and acted like, oh, you know, what's he know? Because that's another difference. I think that JLR, while my guess would be he may not take real kindly to like what he said to her, which is stop vaping on camera, stop cursing on camera. If you want to be taken as a serious member of the media. He should have also thrown in and go back to night school. But be that as it may, that was very good advice he gave her. And while I can see a scenario in my head where if someone approached him in that manner and gave him his own advice, I could see a scenario where he might not be real appreciative outwardly, let's just say, but I think he probably, what I'm trying to say is maybe nobody said to him, in fact, I'd be willing to bet nobody said to him, well, JLR, stop your association with Betty, stop this, stop that. However, he watched many other people, saw what is working for them. I'd be willing to bet that he actually picked certain creators that for whatever reason, who knows why, size, I'm sure many things, the size of their channel, how quick their growth was, what do they do, how do they do it, how long, blah, 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 all the things. I can absolutely see him like deeply digging into things like that, and nobody had to tell him, JLR, don't rage stream, don't smoke your vape in between live streams, don't about your cut, don't, oh, I don't know, hold on, this never gets old for me. So, hey Dustin, so I feel like JLR just moves differently. And here's the one of the biggest things that I can see that sets them apart. he is willing to learn from those who have gone before him and succeeded. She is not, because she fucking thinks she knows everything. Huge, huge contrast between the two of them. So I kind of feel like, and this is all totally just wildly speculating on my part. However, something like this apparently happened, because look where he is and look where she is. I think he is much more thoughtful, and I think he's got patience, and I think here's another thing. I think he's got and SoFlo Mama, I would agree, he does work hard. I may not care for him, but there is not a person in this community that would ever say anything to the contrary, as far as he will get in his car and he will drive from Maine to Spain and back. Now, I don't appreciate the way he, pops in at Don and Candace's and bangs on their motel room door. Like, I do not like his tactics. I respect his hustle. And I would submit there is not a successful person in this world. I don't give a damn what your industry is, whether you're selling, custom furniture on Etsy, or you are the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I don't think that there is a successful person in this world who does not only appreciate, but value the experience of those who have gone before, who have more knowledge and know more, and not only are willing, but are anxious to learn from them. She is none of those things, because she thinks she knows it all. That's why I say I don't see that there is any teaching her. She doesn't think that she has any. She thinks she has all the answers. But I don't think deep down she really thinks that at all. But just lest we forget, and like I said, I'm sorry, it never gets old. I may find JLR, like, to me, I don't really get it. I don't know why. I guess I should say, here's what I'll say. If I was just some nice little old lady sitting at home watching YouTube, and oh, look, there's that nice little JLR. Oh, he goes all over the place. He used to be in prison, but he, now he's a good boy and he's out trying to, he's working for himself. And I can see all that, because on his face, if you don't know any of his history, and listen, I'm just being honest. For me, that prejudiced my thoughts on him. I did not give him the latitude to even give the opportunity to show what he was capable of. But jokes on me, because look what he's done. But that is in large part because of his past. But not just that. I don't appreciate, it's all well and good to call yourself a gonzo journalist. And I understand there is a difference between traditional mainstream media and when he was, having that back and forth with the mainstream media reporter outside of Carly Russell's, I guess it was a arraignment, or I don't know what it was. And, she had enough of him, because think about it. here you are, you're a legit journalist. You have spent a lot of money, presumably going to college, getting a degree, just like any other career. Listen, people, not everybody's a wordsmith, but there's a whole hell of a lot of people that can very competently bang out articles and content, okay, in the media. But most people start at the bottom and you work your way up. So I understand that Sally Smith, that's standing out there from, WKRP in Cincinnati. Miss Russell, do you have any comment on? And she just stayed tight-lipped, and she and the dad and headed for the car. He, on the other hand, is there. Carly, why did you lie? Here's something he did I really did not appreciate. And it's things like this, JLR, if you're watching, I know you are. I know you're a secret closet crimes and fashion watcher. When he said to her, I think first he said something like, why did you lie? Why did you blame a white man? Okay, JLR, I'm just going to tell you from where I'm sitting. No, I have an easier time with the where at. So here we've got the regular mainstream media lady. Listen, they're working for a corporate entity. They have strict guidelines of what they can and cannot do. It's not a bird, it's a bat. It's a bat, it's feathers, it's oh, what the hell's in there? Butterflies. Oh, it's all kinds of fabulosity. If you think this one is excessive, I would recommend yesterday's live. You'll probably need a drink for that one if this one is troublesome. At any rate, so here you got little Sally Smith from the mainstream media, and she's under contract. There's very strict guidelines. You will do this, you won't do that, you will not say this, you will not say that, you will not get within so many feet, blah, 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 blah. So we got that. And then we got him and those like him. And while I do not have a problem with him being a little more aggressive in saying, he did have a point, because the one thing I do not think he should have said, and I don't get behind, and I just think it's not, even gonzo journalism has its limits, okay? And I just don't think it's especially in the climate that we're in this country, I don't think he needed to scream at her, why did you blame the white man? I think it would have sufficed to say, why did you lie? I mean, there's a whole lot more. That was the one thing he could have left out, okay? And still gotten his point across very effectively. So she got in the car. Little Sally Smith over here, mainstream media, turns to him and says something to the effect of, listen, you're not running the show here. Now, I'm sure there's probably a little part of Sally Smith that's like, shit, I wish I could have said, at least maybe a little more emphatically and more often. But here's where he starts to lose me. As she's going to leave to her car, presumably, he's following her and he's saying, why don't you ask the tough questions? And I don't find that to be offensive in and of itself at all, that he would ask her that, but he should know the answer to that. She is bound by her contract with the network and their code of conduct, journalistic ethics, blah, blah, blah. But it has to be frustrating for someone who has spent the time, the money, and earned the right to call themselves a journalist, real credentialed media. And there you got this guy who's, it's hard to compete when you're not bound by the same code of conduct, let's just say. So but clearly he's done something right. So I feel like while I can respect his hustle, I do not respect all of his tactics. But it is very easy to see the stark contrast between him and Betty. So when he advised her, stop cursing, stop smoking on camera. Well, yeah, because if you want to be taken like anything other than you are, which is what you are, you're just a schlub sitting in your house with an internet connection and phone, just like all the rest of us. So, if you want the respect, you don't demand respect, you earn it. And nobody starts at the top. I don't care what your industry is. That's just not how it works. And I just do not believe. I believe it or not, I listen to a lot of people on here. And some of them would surprise you. But a smart person does not ever discount the actions, the thoughts, the know-how of those that have come before and who know more, at least when it comes to do's and don'ts and maybes and with great cost. You know what I'm saying? So those who won't do that, but just think they can demand your respect because, they're just so fabulous. No, it's not the way it works. But yeah, so I think what SoFlo? What hey, Bathtub Mary. Well, I'm going to show you one thing they definitely do not do, okay? And here's the thing. If Betty were just out running around there, tripping through the daisies all over the world, and if she just, to me, if you want to carry on and do the grimy shit you do and use those tactics, well, then at least have the decency. Here's where I think she'd be much less offensive, is if she would just stop pretending that she is due the respect that even a JLR is. She is not. And trust me when I tell you, if you had told me a year ago that I would ever say that I could respect a lot of things about JLR, no. But he wasn't in the position he is in now. He has proven himself, okay? I I don't care for a lot of what he does, but he's, whether you like him or not, he has absolutely earned, if nothing else, the respect for the dedication that it took to get where he is. Because it didn't happen with him sitting on his ass, bitching and suing the whole world. Okay. Well, wait a minute. Sorry. I forgot about all that part. And I sincerely hope he will stay out of that realm. I hope his days of, well, one of the songs I was listening to this morning, oh, it took me back to my high school years. Lisa Stansfield, Been Around the World. I can't find my baby. Yeah, that. I hope that he will stop his carousel of suing around the world. Please stop. You've sued enough for all of us in all of YouTube. You get a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit. I mean, JLR has enough lawsuits under his belt to quite literally hand one out to every man, woman, and child on YouTube. So, yes, I do believe he did. Yes, he did, Mike Stevens. And not only did he get his picture taken with Biden, I am telling you right now that I have personally seen him up close and personal. I'm not talking, oh, what does Betty love to call them? Front row Joes. No, I am talking in the personal space of, no, he is not. Am I going to have to walk back every complimentary thing I just said about him? Oh, that's right. That's right. Uni. Pay for what lawsuit? But Menace, do you think that, I haven't read it, do you think that because where were his numbers when he sued him? Because here's what I'm going to say. If he was well on his way to conducting himself as a legit, if he left his tragedy pimp career behind, well behind, I'm not going to come out and say that the uni thing could, because I haven't read it either. So I'd be stupid to sit here and say it was great or it's baseless. Let's just say I could make the case where I could see a scenario where he could feel like he was truly being damaged by uni and whatever he said. But like I said, I haven't read it. But back to JLR and his photo ops, I have personally seen pictures of him with, and I am, y'all, I'm talking like, put it this way. I was floored. The first thing I said was, is that photoshopped? And it was explained to me, there were several things that were pointed out, and this person knows about that kind of stuff, and said, no, it is not photoshopped. I've seen pictures of him with, it was either Bill or Hillary Clinton. I can't remember which one. Ted Cruz. And I think there was one other person. And these were pictures that I will tell you from personal knowledge. I know what it cost for, I know someone who threw a fundraiser for Trump the second time around. And I know what they were charging. I believe, don't hold me to these numbers firm, but I know I'm in the ballpark. I think if you wanted to, you did not get a photo for the bottom tier. And I want to say the bottom tier was like, I think there was a 1 hour, like he would stand inside, of course. He was on some kind of a step and repeat type of situation, I would imagine. And you'd stand in a line and you got to walk by and, hi, nice to meet you. Oh, yes, I did. I left it at the fishbowl at check-in. I believe the cheapest entrance was 25,000. And I think if you wanted a photo with him, I believe it was 50. Hold on. I can actually phone a friend right now and get confirmation on that. Just because now I'm curious, because I can't remember. But I know somebody who can. So those are the type of pictures. He was that close. I mean, he was like, okay, we'll see if I get an answer back quickly, because it's 3 hours and 15 minutes and I've got, my mouth is like the Sahara Desert. My coffee's cold. My water is hot. And when I saw the pictures, I mean, truly, I was blown away. He was within handshaking distance. And I said, are you telling me that they don't vet people who get that up close and personal? One of the pictures, what it looked like to me was, oh, look at that. Damn, Phone a Friend is on the job. Okay, hold on. Apparently there was more than one, so I have to give the location confirmation. Which, of course, I'm sorry. I'd love to share that with y'all, but I can't. Okay, stand by. I was blown away, because I would think that if you're gonna let somebody, and he wasn't writing a check, okay. It's one thing when you let someone, I see the little dots. Oh, here we go. Confirmation, stand by. Okay. I don't think she's right. Oh my God, I'm trying to type with the wrong hand. I told her, she gave me the number that I specifically remembered was just to walk through the door. So I said, no, that was just to go in. That wasn't for the picture. So stand by. I'm pretty sure I was right about the second number too, but we're gonna find out. I wish, yeah. So you tell me, how does that happen? How does someone who, I obviously his crimes were not violent crimes, but he's done a decade plus in prison, and you mean to tell me he can get within the personal space of not one, but at least three major political figures in this country? And like I said, he was not he wasn't stroking a $25,000 check. Yeah, that's what it was. So 10 to go in, 25 if you wanted a photo op, and it was 1 hour if you got to stay for the, the photo op part. And this was no like you stand there, they do this and you keep it on moving. It's like this. Do not think cocktail party mixer. He left, and then yes, you got your complimentary rubber chicken dinner. Or I guess for that price, you probably could have a beef dish. Beef Wellington, probably, which, well, I hate that shit. A lot of people love that, not me. So yeah, I was always puzzled. How did he? But I think a good way. You guys, we got to come up with a better system for this, because honest God, do you know how many more pages there are? Hold on. We've still got 2 more blocks in that, and then we've got 2 more, 1.5 pages, we'll say. And then we're still only on page 6. I mean, hi. The dog's like, bitch, I don't care what page you're on. I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'm wrapping it up, I promise. How are we going to do this? Like, I mean, what sucks is it's all, well, maybe, you know what? Maybe what I need to do is treat it just like the real lawyers and the judge are going to treat it, like either redundant, unnecessary, irrelevant, immaterial, not illegal, not actionable. But I'm not a judge, so it's kind of hard for me to, I mean, I guess, do you guys, I guess what I'm asking is this: do you guys want to get this involved in the nitty-gritty of this? I mean, I'm the one who makes it take a long time because I just make comedy out of all of this. Somebody has to. So, but I'm not looking, like I said, Betty and I are not married. I'm not interested in spending more time with Betty than with my real world. So I know one way I think that would speed it up a lot, but it also takes away directly from the meat of the thing, which is forget the exhibits. But oh, see, I don't ever watch. I'm not on Facebook for a reason. Oh my God, you guys, I am so damn. I am so far behind in the chat. My God, I must be 30 minutes behind at least. Mike Stevens can be bought. Do you want me to not get as bogged down in the exhibits? But the exhibits are her supposed proof. I don't know. To me, it's all going the same place. I literally could sit up here for the rest of my days reading this, and it's oh God, are they talking politics? Oh, some of that's probably my fault. I didn't. Yeah, you guys, I'm getting ready to wrap it up anyway because we're 3.5 hours in, and that is my fault. I shouldn't have said. I was just trying to make a point about JLR and getting close to politicians and blah, blah, blah. Menace, I agree. It's hard. The exhibits are hilarious because that's where you really see her, because she can rip off GP whatever. What the hell is that thing called? Somebody please tell me. GP, is it called GP3, GP chat GP3? Blah. You can tell I don't use it. Bob, don't you do it. I see him heading to one of his. He's like, well, the cats go to the bathroom in there. Why can't I? Don't you do it. He's standing in the hall, like looking from my doorway to the. Okay, now he's wandering out to the dog bed. Hey, Red's girl Marie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he, yeah. A lot of people would call all of it stalkerish. But I'm looking for the. Nobody had the name of that thing. Well, we'll just call it AI. Okay. It's very obvious that this shit, a large part was, it certainly does not appear to be written by the same person who writes this stuff. And the exhibits are the parts that you can't bullshit or get AI to do for you, because that's the meat of the thing. So oh yeah, we definitely do not. Yeah, I should not have. I should know better. That is all my mistake. For we should have just stayed on the yucky scumbag icky people. Like not the political ones. Oh, I forgot Betty's a politician too, isn't she? Yeah, the good stuff is in the exhibits. I will say, I think, you guys, that this one I've been doing today is well, here's in large part what most of her exhibits look like. They're just screenshots of things. So it will go faster. This is just all bets right here. And yeah, I agree with Menace. This is the best part, truly, because this is the part that she can't rip off from anybody else. I believe that is what, unlike a lot of this, I believe that is 100% Betty. It's Betty, the whole Betty, and nothing but the Betty, I think, in the exhibits, that is. Because yeah, that's the part that's like, huh? Can you please bring back the college graduate or the law school graduate, actually, that wrote the rest of, like, bring that one back, because whoever's handling these exhibits is a moron. So it'll go faster, I promise. And I need to get better. Sorry, you guys. I'm like the one person on YouTube who does not take Adderall or any other ADHD meds. I just, I didn't even know I had it until I got here. But apparently I do. And I'm letting it control me instead of me control it. So well, thank you, Res girl. It's very hard for me to not go off. I throw all this commentary in, and God, I just can't stand harass. So it's fun for me to do. Because while many, many, many people are covering this, and everybody does it in a different way. And I like to listen to most of them. But you know, I think I have my own special brand of going over Betty's LoLSuit. So yeah, we'll, you know, we will group we'll group think this to some degree. Like, well, here's what we'll do. You know, we'll just continue to meet a few times a week for the next 10 years or so. And if y'all think I'm getting too bogged down or, you know, staying on one thing too long, well, then just say, okay, listen, can we keep it moving to the next thing? It's, you know, we got here and it was sunlight, and now the sun is setting. So we got to go. We got lives to live. If I could bill Betty for what my time is worth, oh God. If I could do that, she'd afford a lawyer. Look at this. Look at this shit. I was sitting at my kitchen bar. I did about, it was funny because as I was frantically redacting and making my coordinating exhibits and highlighting and stapling, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what the hell are you worried about this for? You know damn good well you're not going to get anywhere close to all those exhibits. But as I was sitting there, I was like, and I had my AirPods in and I was jamming out. I think I'm going to leave this bitch the same way I came in, as a matter of fact. Bob, you and I and Rihanna, well, we're going to take a walk. You're going to do your business, and I'm going to wash Betty out of my head. But as I was sitting there, it was really, I was like, oh my God, this is just like being back in school. And it's kind of nice, you know, when you get that, you know, even though it's for no money and no purpose, it is a nice, you know, it's kind of a nice distraction to use my mind. And, you know, and I did go to college to be a paralegal, so it kind of all the good old days, you know. All right, you guys. Tomorrow, I definitely will not be here. I've got family stuff tomorrow. I'm thinking Monday. I thought I had a dentist appointment Monday. My appointment is Tuesday. So I do believe we shall reconvene on Monday for part 3. 3 of Woodstock. You know what's funny? I have actually thought about writing a book about this place. Of course, I would change, and unlike, you know, I actually can write. I just have to, it would have to be fictionalized, but, you know, based on a true story. Because if you tried to write it as a true story, I mean, all joking aside, nobody would believe it. They'd be like, and you voluntarily hung out in this place and you did not make any money? Okay. But don't discount that. Oh, thank you, Grain. And I hope that all you guys will also enjoy your families or your friends, whatever you're going to do. So we will reconvene Monday at some point, and, you know, maybe we'll get through more than one page in 3.5 hours. Like I said, Social Security. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good Saturday night. Be safe, and thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, mods. I appreciate you. I do not appreciate this mouse, however. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great night. Bye.
Father, you should know I've been going solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time it's real, real, real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now, I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out. Whenever you see me, don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?